Yo, great life moments.
Yeah.
For me this weekend. We were up in Boston, and we got to meet 50, man.
That seems so fucking cool. That picture.
Yeah, like when you grow up in the New York City.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I mean, obviously 50 like legends just musically, culturally, but like when you grow up in New York City, I don't know, it's a little something different.
Well, you didn't just meet him. He posted about you on his IG.
Yeah, it was fire, man. That was so sick. But yeah, I mean, we went to the club, and then, bro, he told me for like an hour, he was just telling me the craziest stories I've ever heard in my entire life about like New York street shit. And like, I don't want to share anything because I don't know what can even be shared.
Now you don't want to snitch?
Well,
come on.
Hey,
get your black side out. I want to hear
the consequences of snitching on 50 are way different than the consequences.
That is very true.
Wait, who did I snitch on? Who did I snitch
You
on?
be snitching on just like the industry or whatever.
Taxes.
Oh, yeah.
Something like you want to get it out.
Yeah. I'm not afraid of them.
Yeah.
But no, it was just amazing.
It was literally an hour. 50 went up and did probably 25, 30 minutes of just bangers in a row at this club.
Yeah.
Walks directly off stage, and the Dove is obviously doving. And so he's like, yo, 50 wants to say what's up. And they dap up, and I expected it to be like 2 minutes. The club shuts down, the lights turn on, they're still talking. It's been 45 minutes.
Bro, it was crazy.
I'm starting to get tired. I'm starting to be like, all right.
Off air. I want to hear these
story after story.
Wrap it up, guys.
Literally, I don't want to be rude, but I was like, can we go home?
Bro, the craziest stories. Like, he's with all of his boys that he literally came up with. Like, they're still around there. And just talking about his come up. He literally told me the wire for New York. Like, that's what it should be.
Yeah.
And I'm just sitting there like digesting all this, and everything is starting to make sense. Like just him and his position in entertainment. Because basically what I said to him was like, I don't know how the fuck you do it. Like, I don't know how you say whatever the fuck you want and you're still in Hollywood. Like, how is that possible? Because usually when people get a taste of Hollywood, they're like, okay, I'll do whatever I can to, make sure I'm still in this. And a couple things were very clear. Like one, when he went up and he did the show, right? This is a nightclub, he's doing like an appearance, right? Usually people phone that shit in, right? And he's way big enough to phone it in if he wants. Right. And nobody's saying shit.
Yeah.
On top of the DJ booth, banger after banger after banger after banger. You forget like kind of how many hits.
Bro, I completely forgot.
It's wild the amount of hits.
I missed Get Rich or Die Trying. Like, I was too young.
The whole
for
thing
it.
is bangers.
Man, you missed that.
He's a kid. Think about it.
Damn.
And I'm like listening to these songs. I was like, yo, I know all of them.
You know all of them.
And
you
I went to the
words
gym
all
today
of
and
them.
I listened to the whole shit all the way through.
Crazy.
Even the shit he didn't play, I was like, oh, this is another heater.
Yep. So goes and actually puts the effort in, where a lot of like people do like the too cool shit. But then when you put the effort in, everybody there and us were just like, oh, a concert like the fucking arena tour he's on is probably crazy.
The grip he had on everyone in there was wild too. We walked in, it was probably like 1 in the morning. I think he was going on like 1:20, 1:30 something. And when we pulled up, it was just packed wall to wall and everyone just staring at the DJ, just like waiting. DJ's playing bangers, like he's a great DJ. He was actually mixing super nice and everyone
Nobody gave a fuck.
Just waiting.
Nobody gave a fuck.
No one wanted to lose
They're
their position.
waiting for 50 and they're not missing that opportunity to be front row 50.
He just had a grip on him.
Anyway, he starts dropping like story after story after fucking story. And I'm talking about like New York come up, real New York street shit, like names I didn't even know. I had to be like, wait a minute, who's that guy? Who's this? And he'd be like, oh man, you need to do your Google. I'm giving you like actual street OGs that if you're not familiar with what was happening at the time, you're not hearing about these guys on the news.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Deep cut.
Yeah. You might hear about him in like albums. Honestly, I wish you were there for that. For real.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah.
And but yeah, it was just fire. And like you got to see it. And it was like, oh wow, okay. And I understood now like where his place in the movie business is, because think about it. You're a street dude. You got all these like white executives and producers trying to option your life story. Okay? Actually, let me go back even more. All the American street stories that have been massively produced have been predominantly Italian-American crime, right? Family stories. Now, if you're gonna put out a Godfather, or you're gonna put out some sort of Martin Scorsese movie, you basically want Francis Ford Coppola or Scorsese to put it out, right? Like that's who you wanna tell your story. Why? These are Italian guys. They understand what it is to be Italian. They understand your culture.
In the neighborhood.
Exactly. They're not going to make you look foolish. They're not going to make a character that is representing you say something stupid that you would never say. Because keep in mind, that's your likeness and that's your identity. That's how you're going to be remembered, right? If you're an Italian dude and you want to call what is you want to call sauce gravy, not. Can you give me some more spaghetti sauce? Like that's embarrassing to your culture if it's not done right. If you're a street dude, and I'm thinking the next line of street crime sagas will exist within the black community. Those stories will be told. So I don't think we'll hear that many more of the Italian crime.
The mob is kind of done.
The mob's or it's either done or it's like blended into like legit business.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like now they're doing construction,
enough.
they're doing whatever. The time where they were coming up, the come up stories, the broke to millionaires are in the black community. And a lot of those trickle and mix within the hip hop community. And let's say you want that story told. Who are you gonna go to? You're gonna go to some Steven Spielberg motherfucker that is gonna have, you're a Crip and he's gonna have you wearing a fucking red hoodie the whole time because he doesn't understand street politics. He doesn't actually know what's going on. He's gonna have you throwing up the wrong gang signs. You're gonna look goofy. He's gonna have you dress and speak in a certain way that you don't feel like is gonna be respected. And keep in mind, there's like nuance there's a lot of nuance, especially in crime, because the words that you use mean something. You're in this cat and mouse game constantly with the police. So everything that you say is probably specific to your set, your crew, whatever it is. Who are you gonna go to? Who do you want to tell that story? You want the guy who fucking knows how to do it.
Someone who did it.
Like Scorsese could tell a million different stories. But if you want to get the Italian mafia story done right, you want the guy who's familiar with it.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm like seeing that, I'm like, oh shit, yeah, this is.
That's another like testament to longevity. Like if you've been in the game a long time and been able to like pursue different careers and like be able to like make money a bunch of different ways and have your music be relevant, stay culturally relevant for like 20, 25 years, there's a reason.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Authenticity.
Yeah.
Authenticity, but also like just like, you have to be shrewd. You have to have like smart business. Just a smart business brain.
Dude, the vitamin water thing was the early 2000s. We had no idea that was an option.
You killed
back
that.
then.
Yeah.
To just be like, nah, give me a percentage in the company.
Yeah.
That was insane.
Yeah. Yeah, just hearing about that. I was asking stuff that too. I was like, yeah, you're like doing all this at like a young age, even before that, like the streets of like, where are you picking up game? Like so much of this is politics. Like he told me one story. I don't even know if I could, I don't want to share it, but like, it was like, a social IQ and a social awareness that was beyond his age. Like really, and I was like, where does it, he's like, you gotta understand, I was like 12 hanging out with like 18 or 19 year olds. So I learned the game young. So by the time I was that age, I was mentally already there for years. And yeah, cause so much of it, like even when you talk about the OGs that you're like familiar with their name, a lot of these guys, it's not all just, hey, let's go out and murder. A lot of this is politics and being respected by other people and knowing how to play that political game. Sometimes the political game, requires a hit or something like that. But a lot of times the hit is done for peace. I know that sounds crazy, but killing one person might cause less violence. Because that person is the source of the violence. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah.
It's not just, I need to show force and murder everybody. It's like, no, that person is going to be a problem. As long as he's around, there's going to be more violence and more killing, and then we can't sell anything if there's all these people getting killed and people getting shot up. The police are on the corners. It's a problem.
So from the outside, the headline is like, murder and cold blood, gang members are killing people.
From the inside,
it's like, we're trying to keep the block safe and keep making money.
Yeah, this guy's too violent. It's a bunch of drug dealers going, this guy's a problem.
This guy's a criminal.
This is a criminal out here. We're trying to do an honest living and sell some drugs on the corner. This guy's shooting up everybody.
Yeah.
But anyway, just hearing that shit was cool, man. It was very cool. And you see it. You see why like he's having success in TV and film. Like if I'm an exec and I hear the stories that he's telling me, one, I go, okay, this guy's got the charisma to win over a room, right? So I can put him in the room with these people. But also I'm like, oh, he understands. He has a knack for storytelling. He told me one thing. I was like, so what are you saying with like these writers? He goes, don't invent shit. He goes, when you're coming from, you need to invent because it's nothing interesting. Like, you know what I mean? You don't have source material that's this juicy. With this, it's there. Don't exaggerate.
Yeah.
It's already there.
Gotcha.
You don't need to invent a guy shooting his gun in the air. he did it. And I thought that was like a good note.
Yeah.
To keep it like it's already so surreal.
Yeah.
Make it grounded in that surrealness.
Yeah.
So that was fire.